The current state of debate requires the consistent application of progressive discipline.
The business of Parliament must get done with transparency, with integrity, with accountability, and without gamesmanship. This is what Canadians expect from us.
Well, the 21st century, is it not time for a woman to be elected Speaker of the Canadian House of Commons? Thank you.
People have often asked, what's the difference between being an MP and clergy? I pray more now.
My two sons will attest to my near obsession with rules and order. In fact, they both voluntarily enrolled in the Canadian Armed Forces at age 16, believing that even the military was bound to have fewer rules than at home.
The problem is when sticks go high. Canadians want to see sticks. Canadians want to see, though the elbows are for others, not for us.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
A message from the Right Honourable Deputy of Her Excellency the Governor-General. Mr. Clerk, a message from the Right Honourable Deputy of Her Excellency the Governor-General. Honourable members of the House of Commons, it is the desire of the Right Honourable Deputy of Her Excellency the Governor-General that this Honourable House attend him immediately in the chamber of the Senate.
Pursuant to Standing Order 3, I invite Mr. Plamondon, member for Bécancour-Nicolette-Sorel-Alnobac, to take the chair as member presiding over the election of the Speaker.
Before we begin, I want to invite any member whose name is on the list of candidates but who does not want to stand for election to rise and inform the chair accordingly.
West Wellington.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Doyen de la Chambre.
Thank you very much, Dean of the House of Commons. It is great to see you preside over this for the 7th time. I wish to withdraw my name.
For Speaker. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Acadie.
A good speaker knows when to keep their speeches short. Can you withdraw my name from the ballot, please?
Okay. When the last candidate to address the House completes his or her speech, I will leave the chair for 30 minutes, after which numbers will proceed to the election of the Speaker. Each number have 5 minutes for the speech. I invite now to call up Mr. Sean Casey, another member of Charlottetown, to address the House for not more than 5 minutes.
Parliament and the office of the Speaker have declined at an accelerating pace over the last decade. From 2003 to 2017, not a single member of Parliament was asked to withdraw for disregarding the authority of the Speaker. Compare that to the last 8 years, where 9 members have been kicked out of the chamber for violating the rules of debate, refusing to withdraw in parliamentary language, failing to apologize for their conduct, and defying the Speaker. I have witnessed almost all of these incidents, and frankly, there should have been more expulsions. What's worse is that this lack of respect for Parliament has actually been used as ammunition to raise funds. Sadly, this demonstrates the current state of decorum. It is not okay. That, Mr. Speaker, is why I stand before you to offer my candidacy for the office of Speaker. And I do so with some degree of optimism. Members in wanting a reset. After thousands of interactions with constituents during the course of the campaign, I can't imagine that anyone held up the current state of civility in Parliament with pride. We owe Canadians a genuine effort to raise the bar in how we treat each other. A new session with so many new faces offers a fresh start and a real chance to lead by example. If you agree that the conditions and the timing are right to make a meaningful change, then I offer my experience and approach to lead that reset. I've served with 4 different speakers and have learned what works and what doesn't. First, it is vitally important for the speaker to set the tone early and rigorously. A collegial approach, cajoling repeat offenders, has proven ineffective. The current state of debate requires the consistent application of progressive discipline. I offer the experience, the tone, and the temperament to deliver exactly that. I would be honoured with your support to lead a collective effort to rebuild respect in Parliament. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now ask Mr. Greg Fergus, the Honourable Member for Hull Aylmer, to address the House for not more than 5 minutes.
Tempers ran high and cooperation was low. It was in that context that I learned the ropes of the job, often getting it right, and when I didn't, putting in place measures to continually improve. To be frank, it would have been a difficult time for anyone in that role. We find ourselves in a new minority parliament. A new parliament is a new beginning, but we don't have to start at the beginning. Although I continue to stand by my values for mutual respect between members, the business of Parliament must get done. With transparency, with integrity, with accountability, and without gamesmanship. This is what Canadians expect from us. At my first question period, I asked you to treat me like a new car. Try not to get a dent on me on the first day. Well, I got one day. There are now a couple of dents, but I'm still running. I'm now a reliable car with experience. And that's how I learned what all speakers eventually discover. You don't become speaker by just putting on the robes. You learn the role through experience. Canada needs friendships around the world. From the early days of my speakership, I insisted that Canada show our solidarity with Ukraine, and I'm proud to have organized an all-party parliamentary mission to Ukraine. During the long train ride into Ukraine under the cover of darkness, with the protection of the Canadian Armed Forces, seated with my colleagues from the Conservatives, the Bloc, the NDP, and the Liberals, working together, we developed lasting friendships with Ukrainians and strengthened their network of support in their time of need. This is another example of Parliament at its best. Money was well spent. We took steps never taken before. We started a new audit process. We implemented robust new security measures in and around Parliament Hill, in your constituencies, at your offices, and at your home. And we did this so that you and your family can feel safe while you do your job. C'est riche de cette expérience.
It's with this wealth of experience that I ask for your support for my re-election. I gained the experience necessary to implement changes that are essential starting today.
Dense, but it also has character. The engine is strong, and I know the road.
I will now call upon Mrs. Alexandra Mendez, the Honourable Member for Brossard-Saint-Lambert, to address the House for not more than 5 minutes.
I will try to be brief and to the point. Unlike other colleagues, I did not spend the last few days on emails or phone calls asking for your support. Mostly because, as you may know, some of you may know anyways, I was diagnosed with cancer at the end of January, and I have been undergoing intense treatment ever since. Thanks to a phenomenal team and the many volunteers who raised their hand to help me through the campaign, I find myself representing the citizens of Brossard-St. Lambert once more, and I couldn't be more grateful. After a successful re-election, I wanted to ensure my health situation would allow me to stand for this role. I spent many hours reflecting on my next steps, both from a personal and professional level. I do wish to take this moment to thank many of you in this chamber who sent me messages of encouragement in the past weeks and months. From text messages to phone calls and emails, your heartfelt words meant a great deal to me during these challenging times. La vie sans équivoque.
The unequivocal advice from my oncologist has led me to believe that I can safely consider serving you as Speaker. I have the experience of 5 years as Assistant Vice Speaker, have taught me indeed what it takes to ensure an environment of respectful debate of ideas and adherence to our standing orders as agreed upon over the course of legislatures. I'm not here in opposition to anyone. I'm here because I have some convictions that I believe will provide another way of approaching the responsibilities we all have as parliamentarians.
I have never been a parliamentary secretary, nor a minister, nor held any government role. I have been a privileged backbencher, but a backbencher nonetheless. Nous sommes 334 personnes sur...
We are 343 out of 40 million Canadians that were chosen to legislate their present and more than ever, their future.
Responsibilities include and depend on the constant quest for truthfulness and the common good. I also believe that one of our responsibilities is to find joy in the work we do. Loving what we do, this place where we do it, and the people that help us do it are for me fundamental aspects of a successful parliamentary life. It can't and it shouldn't be all about insults and accusations, about gotcha moments and questionable statements. This is the place where Canada's most important conversations should be held, where we seriously debate and humorously disagree.
The ability to find the right word is an art that I admire, and that so many of you, dear colleagues, use with great brio. Combined with the respect for others and the most basic standards of politeness, this oratory art is exactly what our debates should always be like.
Holding the government to account is the essential element of parliamentary democracy. No government is immune from the necessary scrutiny of its proposed legislation and its management of the public accounts. But Canadians have told us time and time again that they expect us to do this with far more civility than they see in this place most days. Should I be given the honour of being elected to the chair, I would strive with all my might to bring dignity to our debates. I believe in the rules and regulations that govern the House of Commons. I believe in the office of the Speaker that oversees the functioning and administration of this place. I trust the clerk and the table officers who guide us and provide us with their knowledge and their independent analysis.
Dignity is a principle very close to my heart. No one in this House, parliamentarian or not, should have their humanity violated. The most elementary thanks to the pages who bring us a glass of water or a lectern, respectful awareness of the monumental work done by the interpreters, recognition of the delicacy of the task that falls upon the officers of the table, and acceptance that despite our differences, we are all here with a single goal, to make some good laws.
Our predecessors fought hard for our rights as parliamentarians. It is our duty to uphold them with conviction and honour.
I will now call upon Mr. Robert Oliphant to the honourable member from Down Valley West.
Merci.
Thank you, Dean, for having presided over us with your classic sense of humour. I think that you have a great career ahead of you. I would like to commend, first of all, everyone for their re-election, or their election.
I was first elected and walked into the chamber, then in Centre Block. It was in 2008. I'm a minister of the United Church of Canada, so neo-Gothic buildings and stained glass and ceremony were hardly new. But I was still overwhelmed to be in the Parliament of Canada. with honourable colleagues from all parties, doing our best to live up to the lofty expectations of those who sent us here. I still feel that sense of awe, but after 17 years, it has dimmed and become more difficult and sometimes even painful to be in here. Dignity has diminished and decorum has declined. Respect for one another and for this institution are woefully lacking. Canadians have noticed. This was confirmed to me at the many doors I knocked on recently, and I suspect that everyone in this room has had that experience the same way. Canadians are watching. Cela dit, sachant...
That being said, knowing that the task before us is colossal, with great humility and some concern, I've decided to be a candidate to become your speaker.
Was the Honourable Peter Milliken. I did not know he would be in the gallery today, who for me embodied what it... what it means to be a parliamentarian. I was in opposition, and in a moment of passion, I once went a little too far with a comment. Speaker Milliken rose. He dropped his head, he raised his eyebrow, and he asked me to withdraw the comment. I'm a politician. I love debate. I love spice in this House. But I felt at that moment I had disappointed the Speaker. I had disappointed him. And I withdrew the remark. I did not want to let down my colleagues or this House or the people who had sent me here to represent them. The raising of an eyebrow. I say this because the Speaker's authority, the ability to provide leadership, to maintain order, to protect members' rights and privileges, to have credibility inside and outside this House, comes from members having trust and respect in not only the office of the Speaker, but in the Speaker herself or himself.
I will now call upon Mrs. Sherry Romanado, the Honourable Member for Longueuil-Charles-le-Moyne, to address the House for not more than 5 minutes.
The Speaker fulfills several key responsibilities: presiding over debates and ensuring the enforcement of rules and the preservation of order and decorum, acting as Chief Administrative Officer of the House, and representing the House in its external relations. Of these, the one I've heard the most about in my conversations over the past weeks is the preservation of decorum. On this, let me be very clear. I will be fair, firm, and consistent. The standing orders in the House of Commons procedure and practice offer a solid framework to guide our work. And with nearly a third of members joining the House for the first time, it is especially important that the Speaker provide guidance, clarity, and support. Expectations must be clearly communicated, and when rules are not followed, corrective action must be taken. In this regard, I've demonstrated my ability to lead impartially and keep order as the chair of the Indu Committee. My two sons will attest to my near obsession with rules and order. In fact, they both voluntarily enrolled in the Canadian Armed Forces at age 16, believing that even the military was bound to have fewer rules than at home. But above and beyond rules, the tone and culture of this place matter. In these times of uncertainty, when trust in institutions is being tested, we must renew our commitment to civility, transparency, and respectful dialogue. Canadians are watching us, especially young Canadians. Our children and grandchildren are paying attention to how we speak to one another, how we handle disagreement, and how we uphold the principles of democracy. Let us give them something to be proud of. Je crois également en un...
I believe in a modern, accessible parliament as well, one that adopts new technologies, reflects Canadians' realities, and includes both tradition and innovation. Parliament needs to change to adapt to the present moment, while also maintaining its foundations that have been serving us for generations.
I do not see the role of Speaker as a one-way street. It must be one that encourages a constant flow of ideas, viewpoints, and suggestions on how we can make this institution stronger, and how we can make it work better for all members, and ultimately for the people we are all here to serve. This is, after all, their house.
I will now call upon Mr. Francis Scapareggia, the Honourable Member of Lac Saint-Louis.
Whether we are in the first rows or the last row. Like the old Montreal Forum, there are no bad seats in this arena. Nous sommes tous égaux ici. Nous avons tous partagé le même parcours.
We are all equal here. We have all done the same thing.
Have all traveled the same road and faced challenges and come up against obstacles on the way to earning the honor and privilege of being the voices of our constituents in this Parliament. Canada's greatest asset is its democracy, and democracy lives and breathes here in this chamber. It is rightly said that there can be no true freedom without order. Likewise, we can't have a truly meaningful exchange of ideas without an orderly, rules-based House of Commons. Now, there's nothing wrong with a clean, even board-rattling, polemical body check in the corners. I've been at the receiving end of a few. Robust debate is fundamental to a robust democracy, and a robust democracy is what makes for a resilient nation. The problem is when sticks go high. Canadians want to see sticks. Canadians want to see, though the elbows are for others, not for us. Canadians want to see sticks on the ice, and it's the responsibility of the Speaker to make this so. Colleagues, I'm an optimist. I believe it possible to skillfully and convincingly dissect and refute an argument without recourse to personal invective or intimidation. I have seen all colleagues from all parties achieve this standard. Over 20 years of parliamentary experience has prepared me for the challenge of finding the right balance between respect and order on the one hand, and vigorous debate that clarifies the issues on the other. J'ai fait le tour, collègues. En 20 ans.
Colleagues, I've had a great deal of experience in different roles. Over the last 20 years, I've been on both sides of the House, 10 years in opposition, including at a time when the future of my party seemed uncertain, and 10 years in total on the government side. I know both sides of the coin, and I'm very aware of the needs of colleagues on both sides of the House. We need to remember that the Speaker is also an administrator, leading operations and services on the Hill. After my 20 years of experience, I have a deep knowledge of all aspects of the administrative apparatus of the Hill and of its regulations.
Colleagues, we have a duty to Canadians and to ourselves, a duty to cultivate our parliamentary democracy in an increasingly turbulent world where many argue that democracy is just too inefficient and time-consuming. Canada has always been about values. It was the will to affirm a distinct set of values on the upper half of the North American continent that led to the creation, against all odds, of this confederation of founding peoples and nations and diverse and proud regions. Our neighbor to the south may be modern-day Rome in size and power. We are Athens in culture, values, and democracy. That is how we must see ourselves. That is who we must be. Thank you, colleagues.
In order to vote, I will ask that members leave their desk, exit through the curtains, and come to the table using the doors on the left and the right of the chair on the respective side of the House. A clerk will issue to each member a ballot paper. After casting their ballot, honourable members are asked to leave the voting area.
We will now count the votes. Next, The Right Honourable Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition will escort the newly elected Speaker from the bar up to here. Then the Speaker will take their seat.
It is my duty to inform the House that the honorable member for il est maintenant de mon devoir d'informer la Chambre que l'honorable.
It is now my duty to inform the House that it is the member for Lac Saint-Louis.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you.
Ça, c'est les premiers mots que vous dites, puis après ça, vous allez faire un discours de remerciement.
Alors, honorable member.
Or.
Yeah. For the member of Hull Aylmer, who took the reins of the speakership at a difficult moment. At the end of a mandate, when things tend to get a little feistier, I would remind members that we are at the beginning of a mandate in the selfish hope that you will afford me a little grace period. Once again, thank you for your confidence. I have few words because, well, we all have things we want to accomplish, and we've been away. Thank you, colleagues.